They got me drunk, and they took advantage of me. That's how they won.
I don't think so. I don't even think.
They liquored me up. Yep.
That's what happens when you're at a distillery. So anyways, you just saw a short game.
A short game, yeah.
A short alliance game with 3 people for Conquest of Nerath, and Jeb got crushed like a grape.
Not like a grape. I was
Kinda
at,
like a
what,
grape.
18?
It doesn't matter.
16 out of 20?
It was a grape that couldn't hold on. So anyways,
before we forget, who was the guy who designed it?
I don't know, something Baker. Richard Baker.
All right.
So anyways,
if you didn't watch the gameplay, check it out. You can see how the game plays, or if you want to just go to the very end and watch them beat me, you can do that. I don't recommend that part.
I do.
You should go to one of the other games that I beat Mickey in, and you'll be happier like I am. So, yeah, I guess we should talk about what we didn't like about it.
Sure.
I think when we first started playing it, like, I read the rules a couple times, took notes, and did all the normal stuff I did. And then I brought it over to Mickey's place, and we played just kind of like a walk through the game to see how it played, and we did...
Get the mechanics down before we played.
Yeah, and we both were controlling 2, I think, but we only went through like half a round or something just to see how battles and everything
A little bit more than that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't play a full game.
And when we did that, it was kind of like, oh, this might get tedious.
Yeah, it was kind of meh.
Yeah, so that's how we went into the actual, like, going into playing the 3-player game, which you saw us record.
Yep, we didn't have high hopes.
Yeah, and then we played the 3-player game, and I enjoyed it. It was fun to me, but I don't know if it's one that I'll play, like...
Over and over.
Yeah.
If I was at somebody's house and they brought it out, I'd say, oh, okay. I agree with Jeb. I did not have high hopes. When we were asked to play it, I was like, oh, cool. Mm-hmm. And then I got on and read BGG, and they were like, it's Risk with a D&D label. And in a lot of aspects it is, but honestly, after playing it, like Jeb said, I feel like they got enough in there to take away, like the event cards are huge, and each event deck is totally different.
Themes for that.
Right, the themes are different. I think it was a good idea in terms of keeping everything symmetrical and instead of trying to make this like asymmetrical realms, right, where if everything had, other than the event deck, had been totally different, it would have been a nightmare to keep track of, so I think that was good. So even though it has a lot of your basic Risk type elements, you have different sided die, they kept it simple with a 6 all the time to hit. You give yourself a bigger die, you're going to have a better chance of hitting, and blah, blah, blah. So, I will say that my meh kind of, went up a little bit.
Right.
I will agree with Jeb with all the other games that I've played and things like that. Would I run out and buy it? Probably not. But if it hit the table, would I try to get away from it? No, I'd probably sit down and play, because I know what to expect.
One caveat on that is when you play and you have to control 2 realms. I am not a fan of that.
Absolutely. When we were going to talk about things we dislike, don't like that either. And I actually felt a little bad for Jeb, and I honestly believe that that's probably one of the reasons that he lost. It's harder to do.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I mean, it's like, this guy's doing good. Wait a second, I forgot to pay attention to this. Or
if you watch the video, I made a mistake towards the end. Yeah, you tried to... And I tried moving both factions. And then I moved them all, and I was like, oh, I can't move black.
And Gary and I didn't even catch it until he said something about himself, and I don't know where we would have ended up until somebody went, wait a second. Probably you would have gotten around to black, and then we would have gone...
No, I might have won the game at that point.
I know, but yeah, that's true. Yeah. But, I mean, if it had happened earlier, whatever, it probably would have gone all the way back, and then we would have gone, how did you already get to those places?
And it reminded me, like, because I've played Aeon's End, I did solo controlling 2 mages, And that's another thing, like the deck builder, like playing two
decks is tough.
Two decks it's not fun to me. And like when I did it with this, I was like, I can do it, but I'm not going to do it well.
Yeah,
so.
I had when we went over mechanics and we were learning the game, we both did double duty, and I have to say I enjoyed the game immensely.
Not having to do all that.
Yeah, way better with only having to pay attention to because not only do you have to pay attention to the board, you have to try to remember which card powers you have in play. Yeah. And yeah, I realize that the way that it plays, once one thing's done, you don't have to do anything except concentrate on your other one. But for both of us, that's just not the way we like to play things. And many
that's
games,
definitely a personal opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, there are people out there who are like, I don't
no
care
problem.
about it.
Yeah, and if you're one of those types of people,
right.
Have at it. I will say that most of the time it's not too horrible to try to find 4 people to play a game.
Right.
So you're not trying to find. It's not a Twilight Imperium,
6 or 7
and that you're trying to like. This game really plays best if you have a full
or what is
6
it,
players
the hidden
or
trader games where those are a lot
They're
better.
better with multiple players and stuff. So 4 is not horrible to try to find. And
I would probably recommend this game at 4 different human players.
Yeah.
And if you do Alliance or free-for-all, that's up to you.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to see what a free-for-all's like.
And I don't know that I'd ever try it, but I can't say that my curiosity isn't a little piqued in what they call a long game.
Yeah.
Because a long game there's 2 win conditions in a long game. However you're playing, you take over all opponents' capitals. So in Alliance, you would be taking over 2 capitals, and in a free-for-all, you'd have to take over 3 capitals, and you have to keep your own. I'm assuming you're not losing your own. So basically, you have to control the whole board capital-wise. Or, this is an or statement, there's a certain amount of treasure cards you have to take based on number of players or how long the game is.
And a quick thing, when we played, the game probably took, 3-ish hours or something like that for the short. In that amount of time, my black faction was able to get 3 treasures. So 3 treasures in 3 hours. If I hadn't have failed a couple dungeons, I would have been maybe 5 or 6.
True.
But you're looking at
you had some pretty bad luck
that.
in 2 of the dungeons early on in the game.
But my point is, it's not going to be short. You're not going to get that done in 3 hours.
No, I don't remember. Yeah, it didn't. Honestly, I'm impressed. If it was 3 hours, between all our stopping and stuff, it didn't feel like 3 hours. To me.
Well, we did take a break to do a
I know,
tasting.
but you look. I mean, you know how long it was because you looked at the camera, and that's a compliment to the game.
Well,
if I'm not looking at my watch every 5 seconds, that's again, that brings the meth factor up a little bit. So I was a positive thing. But like I said, if you like area control, if you're a Risk fan, if you're a D&D fan,
because of the dungeons added in that, I really like the dungeons.
I thought the dungeons were cool.
It's a cool aspect to it.
I'm not sure it's what I expected, but it does add an interesting element to the game, and the fact that they refill all the time is nice too, because it's not like a one and done, and then you always have the opportunity to, wherever you are on the board, if there's a dungeon close and you want to take a crack at it, go right at it. I went through the treasure cards to look at what the ratio was. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of what's a 1 victory point and a 2 victory point. There is only 1 3 victory point card in the deck.
That was unexpected, because in the rulebook it says you can get 1 to 3 victory points, so I kind of thought there would be an even mix all around. Yep. But then when Mickey said that, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It might have made you second guess going into all the dungeons too. And on top of that, the one with 3 victory points that's it.
Effect.
There's no what's the purple one? There's no power and there's no property. It's just, at least right now. I don't think they did an expansion for this, and I wouldn't expect one if it's...
There is a really good variety of monsters in this. Like,
Oh,
they
yeah.
they didn't shorthand you on monsters, because when we were playing, I was like, crap, am I going to get a dragon, a hydra, or am
You
I
got
going to
2
get
dragons.
freaking a green slime that Mickey takes out?
You got a baby dragon,
I got a
and then
baby
you got an
dragon,
ancient
I got
dragon.
and a hydra. And it's like, I think there's trolls, there's dungeon guardians, there's all kinds of stuff in there. And it's not like I mean, it's a total guessing game, for at least I felt that way.
Yep.
So
For me, I will put this on a good. It's a decent game to play.
yeah.
Is it going to make my top 3 list? No, but it's a good game. And and for all the reasons that I said, if you like any of those things, and you're a D&D fan, it's certainly. Also, I think it's easy enough that I think if you wanted to try to get somebody into a strategy type game, you could introduce them to this. Again, I will go with what Jeb said, though. If you're going to do that, try to have 4 players, or you play
The
double against 2 players. Because
don't force a new person to play
don't
double.
force a new player to play 2 factions or realms.
That's asking for trouble.
I don't think they would probably like that. And I mean new person, not new to. If they're a gamer, you could do that. But if they're new to gaming and you have somebody that's like, ooh, I like strategy stuff. Like, I used to play Stratego all the time. Or I used to play Risk all the time. Or whatever. Or even if they're, new to board games and they're like, ooh, I really like Small World. Okay. Just still don't make them play 2 to start. Like, you play 2 to start. You know how the game works.
That's one of those things that I think after playing for 3 or 4 years, it's kind of like, it's good to find out if a person likes that kind of thing or not. Because I wouldn't want people to force that upon someone who doesn't like it. That's just makes the gaming experience awful.
So,
big dislikes.
Big dislikes.
Number 1 is the rule book, and that and the
playing 2 things.
No, on the back. They put
awful.
important information on the back of things that cards are sitting on.
They did so many good things and cut corners on some of the things that they so shouldn't have. Like I said, this card is totally set up to hold the money, hold the dungeon things, hold the treasure jet, and then, to look at the cheat sheet, let's flip all those over, and let's do a dice tower thing and throw things all over the board.
And it's not just that, it's the player cards as well, where you put your deck and your discard. To see what your base income is, you have to flip the card over. There's
how easy it would have been to put base income on the front of this?
Right.
All I had to do is, starting income could have gone back here.
Everything on the back should have just been set up.
One thing, flip it over, there's your base income. There's probably enough room here, if they would have squished this up a little bit, to put all the unit movements, too.
Yeah.
Or a separate...
They could have just had little cards that were double-sided.
Like this, on a separate card, so I didn't have to pass a rule book around.
If you didn't see, we passed the rule book to the active player every turn.
I don't know how you make a game with a beautiful insert, nice figures.
So, if you don't know, the game came out a good... maybe 10, 12 years ago, something like that.
Is that how old it is?
I thought it was 2005, 2008, something like that.
Let's see if there's a copyright in here. 2011.
Oh, 2011?
7 years ago.
7 years ago. So, I mean...
2011, not 2011.
Yeah,
that would be really
I understand. But yeah, this whole board gaming revolution or whatever has only been the last 5, 6 years, something like that. So.
Yeah, so this
was a little bit before all that, but the fact that their insert is better than most inserts of other games.
Far beyond any Fantasy Flight game you'll ever see.
The figures are so unique.
Fantasy Flight, let's throw stuff in a box.
Yeah, I mean, some games they'd make the foot soldier for all 4 factions the same model and just color it different. This game actually made everything unique in that sense.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, there's some of them are the same.
Right,
but they took the
did
time to make... you know what? Let's make foot soldiers different so they're easily... and they didn't have to because the colors are very, very, very distinct.
So they do such good things. But then it comes to
stuff that you really, really need. Like, I didn't need this. I need this.
Right.
Especially when you start learning the game. Would this eventually go away? Sure, if it was a game that I whipped out every week.
Right, but that's not what it is for us, so.
I don't, if you're playing games, it's just not one of those,
Right.
Even if you were really into it, you'd probably get tired of it after a little while, put it on the shelf, and then again, you would need this.
Right.
Anyways, enough of ranting on, I think that's the only really bad parts. I just didn't understand why the bad reference things. They could have done so much just on the front of this, and if you didn't want to make 4 of these, you could have made just the one.
Right.
2 would have been the best.
Yep.
Well, 4 would have been the best. 2 would have been next best, and then 1 would have been acceptable.
Right.
So enough of that tirade. I don't know if you want to talk about who wouldn't like it.
The only other thing was the 2 to 4 players.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we don't like having to control 2 realms or whatever for one person to control 2 realms, I do think that they did a pretty good balance on like a 2-player game versus a 3-player game versus a 4-player.
Yeah.
Like they went over that stuff well enough to define how that stuff works. The rulebook, we mentioned it really quickly. Stuff is kind of scattered, and I think it could have been shortened down a little bit.
Some of it's a little wordy. I will say for the most part, though, everything is pretty clear except for just a couple things. I'm not even going to bring them up because I feel like we played it right. So if there's somebody out there that says that we did something wrong, certainly pipe up. But I feel like they got hung up in semantics in terms of how do I say this when it could have been easily said in one sentence instead of paragraph.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that I didn't appreciate some of the examples, just to be clear.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
not
saying,
the worst rule book, but it could have been.
And some of it, like, you almost made it muddier by talking longer about it than what it should have been. But, I have to assume they play tested and people were like, what does and then they were like, okay, this, and this. I don't know. That's besides the point. Yeah. Certainly, like Jeb said, not the worst rule book ever. You grab it and you're like, oh my goodness.
Mickey didn't read the rules until after we played, and when he picked it up and started reading, he goes like, I didn't think the rule book needed to be this big for what we learned, because it's basically move, attack, and some other random stuff. So, but I think that's about it. We probably ended on a little bit of a negative note, but that doesn't mean we didn't like the game. So.
No, we always talk about stuff that we didn't like out of it, and we always start with the positive. So go back and watch the positives, because we thoroughly changed our mind, and that's happened a couple of times now, and we're always glad when we change our mind about it, because it was 100% better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to struggle through this game, and was going to be kind of bummed, and I wasn't at all. I had a good time, and it wasn't because we got Dragon Distillery drinks either.
Yeah.
Those were good, but the game was it was enjoyable. Yep. And bonus beating Jeb, because that's always fun. So what do you think? Most important thing about this episode?
About the episode? Or
about this episode.
The fact that Dragon Distillery... No?
Well, that's kind of important.
Well, I was going to say that before the other thing.
Oh, what? Okay.
First, I was going to say, we want to say thank you to Dragon Distillery, because they let us play the entire game there, let us record. If you saw the intro stuff, you could actually see what the distillery looked like.
We showcased their drinks. We drank their drinks.
We liked their drinks.
Their canned... So, we had all 3 of their canned drinks that they have available now. They were all outstanding.
Yep.
Off screen, we had a tasting of their various spirits that they had there. I think I liked everything that I tasted. I ended up buying 3 bottles and all of the cans.
Mickey walked out of the place. He had back.
Hey, some of it was because of the wife. They had a mango sriracha one, which was really cool.
The moonshine that's lemon meringue, that was really good.
Tastes like a lemon meringue pie with a with a nice kick to it.
Yeah, so
Not a spicy kick, but an alcohol kick.
right.
And then the other one that I had is they had a black cherry almond one, and I tasted it. Not that this has anything to do with the game, but so I tasted it and I was like, oh, that's good, but what would I do with that? Because it didn't really taste like something that you would, it's not like, it wasn't really a sipper or something like that. And I said, well, what would you do with this? Because it was good. And he goes, add some Coke. And then the light bulb went off just like that. Oh my gosh, it's a cherry Coke thing with a hint of almond. Fantastic. So I bought a bottle.
There's also the, was the mint vodka that has a hint of chocolate?
Yeah, I had that before. I knew that was
Didn't
good.
you say that you could, like, throw that in hot chocolate?
No. You put it in, like, a dark beer.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
you put it in a dark beer and it tastes like a Thin Mint.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah,
that was
so
the thing.
good, all good stuff happening in there.
So definitely, it's the Dragon Distillery in
Frederick, Maryland. I don't know have the address off the top of my hand, but you can look it up.
Yeah, just go online. I'm sure they have a website.
Yep.
So, big shout out to them. Thank you for all that stuff.
Yep.
And then the last thing we're going to talk about is this game itself.
It's up for grabs, people.
Yeah, so...
it's up for grabs, but there's a thing.
One condition. Two
conditions.
Yeah.
A, you must comment on YouTube
on this review video.
On this review video. Don't comment on the intro.
Right.
Don't comment on gameplay.
You won't get it.
You must comment on the review part. Now, you can tell us we're idiots.
Yeah.
But you can be like, you guys are terrible, can I have the game?
Yeah. You'd be like, Jeb, you're so cool, and Mickey is kind of meh, but I'd like the game.
You can do that. So that gets you an entry into the thing.
Right.
Part 2 is, we're not going to give it away until we hit 700 subscribers. We're at
610.
As of this recording, we're at 610. So get the word out. Tell people to come look at it. I don't even care if you don't tell them about what you're trying to do. You can tell them to sign up and hope that they don't watch the review to this game.
Yeah,
that's okay too.
We have plenty of other videos. You could be like, hey, you should check out Booze and Boards, who did a review of this other game, and subscribe to them. And then guess what? That gets you one step closer to this game.
But if you don't know, this isn't in print right now. So you're getting an out of print game.
Yeah. We had to get it through eBay. So.
It was brand new on eBay for like $70. We're not going to charge you for shipping or anything like that. We're going to eat the cost. You have a shot at this game, but obviously the point is we'd like to build our subscriber base more, so we want you to tell your friends and stuff like that, hey, can you go subscribe to this? We don't care if it's your mom, your grandmother, your kid, whatever. Well, we would like it not to be a made-up account. That's it.
Yeah, we would appreciate it.
Don't subscribe your
sub
dog.
it up to 700, and then the day
and
after
then
go
tell
back
everybody
down to 60.
exactly. That would be pretty mean. We're not looking for that. We kind of that would be not nice to us.
Right.
We try hard. So, anyways, that's the deal.
Yep.
You have a chance. You have a shot at this game.
Leave a comment on this review video on YouTube saying that you want it and adding whatever else you want to say, and then we get to 700 subscribers. We'll give it away. We did this with Torres already.
There's another one out there that hasn't been claimed yet, too.
We won't tell you. You gotta find it.
You have to find it.
Yep.
And it's already over.
Oh yeah,
the
it's over the amount.
So it's the first person that comments on it's going to get the free game.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep. So if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, leave comments. One important thing, if there's any games that you want us to play, we are completely down for it. You just suggest it, and we'll move it up to higher priority. And
this might be dated by the time you watch it, but like some of the stuff we have sitting around, we have Stuffed from Certifiable. We have Who Goes There from Certifiable. We have Horizons from Daily Magic. We've
got Fallen Angel.
We have Fallen Angel.
We really want to do.
Which we really want to do. What other stuff that
we want to start up an Arkham thing?
We're hoping to start up Arkham Horror, the card game, a series, because our Gloomhaven series, people seem to like that. So I'm just putting stuff out there that's kind of like on our list.
That's kind of what we're looking at right now. But once we get a comment that's like, "Hey, Jeb, why don't you guys play?" I don't know what I'm going to say because I don't want to ruin some of next season or this season.
Gaia Project.
Data project. Hey,
That's
Jeb.
Data. Gaia.
Oh, Gaia.
Gaia.
Gaia project.
I thought Gaia.
Yeah. So if you just say the name of something you want to see done, we'll move it up. So that's
If
the
we
key
have
to
it.
that.
If not, I'll make Jeb buy it.
Yeah, probably.
All right. We'll quit rambling, but appreciate it. Well, until next time, right, Jeb?
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Boards and booze, booze and boards, with Mickey and Jeb.